Hung Vanngo Beauty. I'm so excited to try this. I'm also really excited to try this specific color story. Now I'm starting with clean canvas, and for now I'm just going to focus most of it out of my socket. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with the lid space yet, but I do know I want this all to be pretty covered. And I'm going to take the Longwear eyeliner. This is the black shade. Look at how creamy and how black that is. That's why I didn't worry about putting the base there, because I knew I was going to use this kind of as our first round of dimension. Ooh, that blends so nicely. Don't worry about it being perfect at this stage. And if you can't tell, we're gonna get a little smoky today. This blended like a dream. Now, before we move on, I wanna see how big of a difference we have here. That's really, really mild difference. I meant to say that's a, please don't come for me. But I don't know, I wish there would have been just maybe a little bit more difference in between that, because once blended, I really don't think there's gonna be much of a difference in between those two. I am gonna grab an E28, and I think I'll just grab a little bit of, this one was the darker one. Grabbing it on the tip of the brush, that way I have more control, and I'm just gonna start to push that here just to soften the transition. I'm gonna use this shade to fully transition it. I kinda think that's a really fun shade, but for right now, I do wanna get in here and just give us a little extra set. Now I'm gonna grab this shade on the side of the brush. That way we can just evenly lay it right on top. I'm gonna use the blackest shadow in here. Is this a true matte? Oh, it's like a wet matte. Oof, that's good. That means intense pigment. So we're gonna pick that up here, and I'm just gonna fill in a little bit more for some more depth. Yeah, that matched the, in fact, that might be even darker than the liner, which is pretty rare. And then I'm going to really clean up. I'm going to do more of a wing shadow look today. So I'm just using the small brush. Anytime I use black eyeshadow, I grab the smallest brush. Now I like to use a brush in my cellar water, just so like I get more control this way. And then if I want to, I just wipe a little bit on Sheila here. And I can just really shape with my cellar water, and it doesn't leave a residue like a lot of makeup wipes can. I feel like this texture of eyeshadow base, this kind of one that goes clear, is really great with shimmers. And I have that on the C30, and I'm just going to place that here. I'm not really worrying about messiness, because I'm pretty sure that the intensity of this silver is gonna take over my lid space anyways. Okay, I already got a little bit on my lid, only because I thought I was recording and I wasn't. C30. And I'm just gonna put this one towards the front. I usually like my brightest, and this is so nitpicky, but I like my brightest shimmer to go from my inner corner and then right to the highest point of my eye, because that really bright color is gonna grab the light because it's on the highest point of your eye. Okay, let's get that on there. And y'all know I like to use as many colors as I can within reason. So I'm gonna pick up this shade, and that's gonna finish over this way. That one's not quite as bright, so I thought it'd be pretty over here. This shade is interesting because it's a pearl, but it's more of a, it has more depth than what I'm used to seeing, and I like it. So I think it'll be kind of fun if we just place it here. It's usually a little bit lighter of a shade that I apply there, but I think that's kind of fun. I feel like it really ties in nicely. And I'm gonna switch to a small brush. I feel like black and white, I always reach for a small brush. I'm gonna do a little bit of highlighting with the white. Just brighten up there. See how it's not too white? I did expect it to be whiter, but I'm not upset with that. Back with the liner that we started with. I'm gonna take advantage of this wet concealer. Again, the dry time situation. Once you learn dry times on your makeup, I feel like you become unstoppable. And then I wanted to smudge this and connect it. And then if you take the very tip of a puff, and I think I'll set with this shade. Now it is important that I'm not putting it on the side here. It's going right on the tip of the little puffy puff. I'm gonna look up and I'm only setting the edges, and I just feel that this texture just really gets in here and smudges and sets so nicely. That's why we love puffs. And this is still one of my favorite things to do. I just feel like it melts your eyeshadow into the look. It kind of sets it into the complexion, if you will. So this is just a clean, dry brush. I'm gonna pick up some concealer. I'm gonna take it and start to melt just certain parts of the eye look. If I want, I'm gonna wipe it off, grab some more concealer, and then I'm just gonna tap, tap, tap. And we wanted to use the fluffier brush because it's not going to cover, it's going to melt. The fluffier the brush, the more diffused the application. And I just love an eye to be melted in to the complexion. Now, this looks a little too light for what I normally go for, so I'm gonna reach for the C40.5, and it's just gonna give us more pigment because it's smaller and more dense. So I think we're gonna be able to make it work. I do like this brush. Obviously the fibers can do cream and powder, but if you're needing more intensity from your bronzers or your contours, we're gonna reach for the C40.5. Yep, I don't think that would have worked with a fluffier brush. Look at this sculpt, even with the bronzer. To the formula, I like how smooth it is. It seems nice and matte, which is what I like when it comes to a bronzer. I definitely want to go down my neck, and don't worry about that. I'm applying this because I wasn't sure. I'm also applying it on top of wet, so only the center of my face is set. Just like eyeshadow base, whenever you apply shadow on a wet base, it's going to be more intense. So that's what I'm after here. I feel like if I had applied this with the original C40 and I had put it on set foundation, I don't think I'd be where I want to be. Let's grab a C41. Ooh, you know what else I love? This is very artistry to me. There's no logo on the blushes, the eyeshadow, it's flat. And why I love that is because it can make such a difference on how it applies, wears, so many different things. I know it doesn't sound that deep, but when something picks up really, really evenly and can go to your face very, very evenly, that is exactly what we want. Dusting off a little bit of it. So the reason I don't tap my brush is because I would rather just ensure that it's getting pushed evenly right into the very tip of the fibers instead of just dusting it off. So that's another reason I'm not much of a tapper when it comes to that. Now I'm going to purchase more shades. This is what was sent to me, and this isn't normally the blush I would want with how cool the eye is, but we're just testing it out. Everything's applying dreamy, just absolutely dreamy. So I just did one tap and I did it a little bit lighter, and that's exactly how much I want. So the shades I was sent when it comes to lips, I will absolutely wear this shade, but it's a little too light. What was the shade again? Let me just hop in here and look at this. Create the Shape is the shade that I was sent in the lip liner, but the lipstick I was sent is definitely gonna be too vivid. And this is definitely a shade I won't normally reach for. I'm going to wear it, of course. And I'm gonna put it on with this eye look, but I'm not sure that the lip liner is gonna work with it. But nonetheless, the packaging is stunning, and let's just throw this on. I love that there is this little hug here for your lips. And I feel like if I was wearing a different color eye, I would absolutely wear this. In fact, I want to do a look inspired by this lipstick. That is pigmented, creamy, comfortable, everything I want in a lipstick. But I want a cooler shade for this. So I'm going to use a different lipstick, but I will use the lip liner. So I'm going to wipe this off. So we're going to do the lip liner now. Gliding beautifully. I like the color. And these are going to be retractable, so that is something to keep in mind. Does it have the built-in? Yeah, it's gonna have a built-in sharpener, so that's nice. Look at this color, that's gorgeous. We're using this, it's called Soft Haze. All right, friends, here's our finished look. I had so much fun playing with this. The textures, the pigments, it just speaks to the artist inside of me. I'm so excited to see what's next, Hung, and I'm gonna go buy more. I'm hooked. All right, I love y'all so much. Thank you for watching this long tutorial, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.